Hi, welcome back. I'm Helen.
I'm James.
And we are global nomads. And in 2024, we sold everything we owned to travel the world full time.
This is episode 4 of our 6-part series where we tour around the beautiful island of Sri Lanka. Today we're going to leave Kandy, where we've been for about 5 days, and we're going to get on the Ella Odyssey, which is a train that's going to take us from Kandy to Ella. And then we're going to get off just before the Nine Arch Bridge, which will be coming up later.
This is a journey that's around 140 kilometers or 81 miles if you're still in old money. And it's going to take around 6 to 7, maybe up to 10 hours. It's a bit fluid. So I'm not sure. For us, it took around 7 hours, but that's the length of the journey. So you're there for the experience, not the speed. Good morning from Kandy here in Sri Lanka, where we are here to ride the Kandy to Ella train today. So let's go and see if we can find our train. As you enter the train station, you're going to see the ticket entrance. Now for us, because we got our tickets on 12Go Asia, we did have to go and exchange our email confirmation for our ticket. And we went to the desk and this is what they gave us. This was our ticket. It's pretty big, you're not going to lose it. And then you have to show this to be able to enter the platform. There is some security there to enter the platform as well. Once you get onto the platform, there is a couple of waiting rooms. These are split by the ladies and gents waiting room. And there is, I think, from memory, there was a first class waiting room as well. We did book first class tickets because that was all that was available, but we're going to talk about that a bit more later. So once we were on the platform, it's a long platform. Kandy is a dead end station, so the train is going to come in one way and then it's going to leave in the opposite direction. We were with our guide because if you've seen our previous episode, you know that I fell down the stairs and hurt my ankle and I had my boot on. So we couldn't walk very far, or I couldn't walk very fast. So we did have our guide with us and he was able to talk to them and basically ask the guy at the station where we needed to sit for our carriage so that we weren't walking up and down because it is a long train.
So we booked the tickets through 12goasia.com, and you can book the tickets between 30 and 45 days ahead. If you leave it until 30 days, which is when the Sri Lankan Railways release the seats, they will be available for about 10 seconds. We've tried it. We got everywhere, all the way through to putting your credit card in, and then that was it. They were all sold out. Apparently there's some issues with people purchasing all the tickets that perhaps shouldn't be and then selling them on at a price. So wouldn't surprise me. So book them about 45 days ahead on 12Go Asia. You can't choose your seat, and that was a bit of an issue for us, as we show you in the video. But you will get a seat, and it will be a full train.
Well, there are a bit different types of tickets available, so you can get reserved seats or unreserved seats. So basically by the time we booked, because we'd waited for the 30 days to try and book them, which is when we thought they were available, the only tickets that were left were first class tickets, which as it turned out was fine. The biggest issue in first class is that the windows don't open. And part of the experience is to be able to lean out and all of that stuff. So that was the biggest difference, but we did have reserved seats. Then there's second class reserved seats. So again, you're guaranteed a seat. Then there's second class unreserved. So basically you'll get on the train, but you won't necessarily have a seat. And from what the research we had done, the trains are often overcrowded. The thing in second class, why most people prefer that though, is that the windows will open halfway. Now for us, it rained pretty much the whole journey, so that really wasn't that big of a deal for us. But if you were going, I would definitely try and get the second class reserved seating. Then I believe there's a third class unreserved as well. Again, I think that's obviously the cheapest ticket, and you're going to be crowded. That's where you're going to find all the locals. I was going to say the other issue about booking with 12Go Asia or baolao.com is that you are going to pay a premium. So if you could get the tickets through Sri Lankan Railways, I think it's like $5, something like that. And we paid, I think, 20.
We paid €59.
59 euros, yeah.
So for 2 tickets.
But if you could buy them on Sri Lankan Railways, you're going to pay significantly less than that.
We had 2 people looking out for tickets for us through the station, and we went online at the exact minute they were available, and we still couldn't get it. So just don't bother. Just go to 12Go Asia and pay the premium and just get a seat.
It's still not expensive for a 7
to 10 hours.
7 to 10 hour journey. It's still not expensive, and at least this way you've got a ticket.
So here we are, we get on the train to Ella. It's all been a little bit chaotic. Our seats were actually not together. We booked through 123Go Asia. There was not that many tickets available. Anybody that's done this will know how hard it is to get tickets. We did manage to swap though, so we are at least sitting together now. It is, like I said, a little bit chaotic. The train is full. And we are now half an hour late and still haven't left, and there's no end in sight of us leaving yet. I will do a little bit of video shortly just to show you the overhead luggage space. Unfortunately, our window as well is not really much of a window, but hey, it is what it is.
We're going.
We're going. Okay, welcome to the Ella Odyssey. We're on the train between Kandy and Ella. This is actually the tourist train, so we're just going to give you a seat tour really quick. So this is first class. The seats are fairly padded. They're in a little bit rough shape, but they're not too bad. There is an armrest in between each seat, which the armrest does go up, but there is still a solid piece here too. The armrests either side don't go up. There is a footrest which goes up and down, apart from James's doesn't because it's broken. And then there is a little tray, like an airline style tray, which is not clean, and a little thing here for drink. And that's pretty much it. There is some overhead storage. A lot of people on here with suitcases, so it's full. And they did just come around with their lunch menu. There was no price, I'm not sure how much it was, but there were a few options for lunch, and they'll deliver it to your seat at noon. So I think that's it. Rainy day for us. Unfortunately, we didn't get a window. This is our window. But it's raining anyway, so I'm not sure how much we're going to see anyway. But hopefully it'll clear up a bit later.
Newsflash, the weather did not clear up. So I know you're probably all thinking about the loo and what the toilet situation is.
Oh, I am.
I thought about it. It's an 8-hour journey, or a 10-hour journey, however long. There is a toilet at the end of the carriage. There was a squatty toilet and a Western toilet. They were okay-ish, actually not the worst I've seen, believe it or not. The worst was the European sleeper from Prague to Amsterdam to Prague, but that's a whole other story. So it's not the worst I've seen. I don't believe there was any soap, so take your own soap. There was water, and it wasn't that bad. If you needed to, it was usable.
So one of the reasons why everybody wants to do this train apart from the scenery, which Helen's going to talk about, is the fact that you can hang out of the train. Both sides of the carriage doors are completely open. The conductor will open either one or both of them as soon as we leave Kandy, and they'll stay open all the way till we get to Ella. People will hang out the edge. We actually saw, I think on the bridge, 3 people hanging out one side of the
One door.
on one door, and that's to get your Instagram photos and everything else, and your YouTube videos, and become famous and everything else. So it's a really popular thing.
Or injure yourself. Shortly before we did this, actually, a Chinese woman fell out the train completely, and it was fairly seriously injured, I think. So, yeah, use some common sense, people.
Health and safety at work doesn't really
No.
doesn't come into practice. So it's very safe to do because the train moves very slowly. But at the end of the day, there are trees, there are walls. You've got to look forwards and not turn your back and get hit.
Don't lose your head in a tunnel or anything like that. Yeah.
But as long as you abide by certain rules of don't be stupid, it's very safe.
And fun to do. You know, we still did it, and it was one of the big attractions of doing the train. I'm glad we did it. But yeah, use some common sense a little bit. There's a lot of overhanging trees that if you're not careful, you'll get scratched and injured.
And obviously on most trains anywhere else in the world, I tried to pull down the window at Amtrak to open the door, and I got shouted and told I'd get kicked off the train.
Yeah, you can't open the door by yourself.
Can't open the door yourself by Amtrak, whereas in Sri Lanka, the doors just open all the time.
I think the train average is only about 15 miles an hour. So you're really not going very fast, but it's still enough to hurt yourself. So this route is known as being one of the most beautiful train journeys in the world. And if the weather's nice, I'm sure it is. Unfortunately for us, it was still great, and I'm still glad we did it. Unfortunately for us, it did rain the whole journey. The train actually starts in Colombo, and it takes about 8 hours to get to Kandy, where we joined the train. And following Ella, where we got off, the line does actually continue to Badula as well, a little bit further on. Again, incredibly scenic, tea plantations, mountains, waterfalls, huge gorges, and we did get rivers. We did get to see some of this, and the villages, and there's people are there. The people from the villages are there, ready to wave to the train when you go through some of the villages. It is incredibly scenic, and it would have been absolutely amazing, I'm sure, if the weather had been nice. And I would like to go back and do it again. I don't know if you would, but I would like to go back and do it again and try for better weather. We were there in January. We were there for the whole month, and literally the whole month we were there, it rained. We had very few nice days. I think we just got unlucky because seasonally that should be a good time. Everyone kept telling us the weather should be good, but it wasn't. Particularly, we had a lot of rain. So it was amazing to do. The scenery is still beautiful. It's still a great fun experience. But the main reason to do the journey is for the scenery. And a lot of the time, especially when you get to the highest peaks, we were just in cloud. You couldn't see anything. When you leave Kandy, you're already at quite a high elevation, but during the journey, you're going to climb up to the highest train station in Sri Lanka, which is Patipola, at 6,234 feet, or I'm going to check meters, 1,897 meters. So you are high in elevation. like I said, great fun, but we were in clouds a lot of the time. But still, well worth doing.
Top tip is to take some wet wipes or some kind of cleaning cloth. The windows are not the cleanest, and well, they weren't on our train, and somebody actually did that, and they were outside when we got to the first station and cleaning the windows so that when they could take video or photos, they could actually see something. So top tip, take some wet wipes.
And you probably want to take a wet wipe for your seat as well, and the tray.
And the toilet.
And the toilet.
In fact, I'm sitting at a wet wipe shop in Sri Lanka train station.
Just pretend you're on a plane, wipe everything down. I think after COVID, we all got used to doing that, but, I would wipe stuff down. I'm not especially a germaphobe, but I would wipe it down. Fortunately for us, we haven't told you this part, our guide had taken our luggage and had driven to Ella with our luggage, and he was meeting us at the train station in Ella.
Thanks, Salmon.
Yeah, thanks, Salmon.
We get off the train at Ella, and it's about 7 hours later. We left a bit late and we arrived a bit later. And once we got off, that was the end of our journey. But the next spot to see after you leave Ella is Nine Arch Bridge, and we're going to see that tomorrow, but not from the train, but from a tuk-tuk.
Our original plan had been to stay in Ella for 6 nights. Because it is quite a hilly area, and because I had fallen and had the boot on, we decided to change our plans and only stay there for 1 night. And then it meant we could get to the next hotel and rest up a little bit more. We stayed here at the Hotel On Rock. I did have a hard time trying to find a hotel that did not have steps. Our original hotel had a lot of steps. And it doesn't really come across on video or anything that I'd seen how mountainous this area actually is in terms of hotels and even just access to the hotels. And the hotel we had originally booked had a lot of steps, and we checked with them and they said yes, so we couldn't stay there. A few of the other nicer ones that I was trying to look at also were the same, had a lot of steps. So we did go to this one called the Hotel, like I said, the Hotel On Rock. We only stayed here for 1 night. It was perfectly adequate for 1 night. Not much else to say, really.
There's not a lot of, you're not going to get a Hilton, you're not going to get a Marriott. There were some nicer hotels which had things like elevators and better facilities, but they're all sold out.
They were sold out because we were trying to book last minute because we changed our plans and either weren't available or didn't have elevators. So even some of the nicer ones didn't have an elevator, and I couldn't manage stairs with the boot. So that was it. Anyway, we only stayed there 1 night. Looks like a nice town, a bit more backpackery than the other places we went to, which was cool. It actually reminded me, if you've ever been to Ubud in Bali, reminded me a bit of Bali, had kind of Bali vibes. There was tons of restaurants and souvenir shops and tons of people, but yeah, it looked like a nice little town from what we saw.
We left the Hotel On Rock, and our tour guide Salmon organised a tuk-tuk to take us down to Nine Arch Bridge. You can't go down by car.
There is a trail, you can walk.
Yeah, you can walk. It's quite a walk.
It is quite a walk. Well, yeah.
And there was a lot of rain.
And there was a lot of rain, so it was pretty...
It was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So a lot of people use tuk-tuks. So we used the tuk-tuk. We went all the way down to the bridge, and then there's some cafes, and it's a hive of activity. And there's things happening on the edge of the bridge, but as well as things happening on the edge of the bridge, as you cross the bridge, there are merchants selling things. So this is not like a European or American bridge where everybody has to stay off it. People sit on the edge, people are selling things, people walk next to the train. A bit more like Vietnam.
Yeah, and a lot of Southeast Asian countries are the same. But, you know, everybody's pretty sensible, and
Nobody got killed.
Nobody died.
Yes.
So that was good. But yes, there's a couple of cafes down there if you want to get a coffee. We were there for the first train of the morning. The vendors know exactly which direction the train is coming from. They'll tell you where the best place to stand is. Our tuk-tuk driver actually came and found us and was like, stand here, here's the best place, because I couldn't walk across the other side of the bridge. And it was pretty muddy down there too, but it well worth the visit to go down there. The Nine Arch Bridge is also known as the Bridge in the Sky, and was started in 1914 by the British, of course, because we like to go everywhere and build trains, and wasn't completed until 1919 because following the outbreak of World War I, things were slowed down and construction was delayed. The bridge spans 91 metres or 300 feet long. Good morning from Ella in Sri Lanka, and here we are at the infamous, I'm not sure which, Nine Arch Bridge.
Just on our own, no one else.
Yeah, no one else is here.
No, just us.
So we're waiting for the train to come. We took a tuk-tuk down here because I'm still wearing the boot. Yeah, it's arrived. It's arrived for sure.
And you got to do it on the way back.
And we've got to do it on the way back, which I'm not looking forward to. But yeah, we're here waiting to see the train.
No way, go down, down.
We really didn't get a chance to see Ella properly, so our guide took us on a leisurely drive from Ella to Yala, and we picked up a few of the big sites that we missed out on because we didn't stay in Ella for 5 nights. Our first stop was Ella Lookout Point as we ventured down from 1,041 metres or 3,415 feet above sea level. We then stopped at Ravana Falls, which was pretty spectacular and is 25 metres tall or 82 feet. Kind of cascades down and forms individual waterfalls. Once we'd done that, We then were on our way to Yala. So although we've had some rainy days, at least on this journey from Ella to Yala, it stayed pretty dry and it was a pretty nice day overall. So we got to see some scenery, we got to see some villages, and we took a leisurely drive.
So thanks for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed part 4 for our journey from Kandy to Yala National Park. Join us next time and we will be showing you around a little bit of Yala National Park and the Hilton Yala, where we will be staying for 20 days. Yes, 20 days.
On point.
On a point stay, so it was free, even better. But we'll give you a good idea about the hotel and the location. So we'll see you next time.
Like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.